Today is August 17th, and if you've been following the news this year, then you know that today is the date that the terms for the effective proposed settlement go into effect. There's been a lot of myths going around about what this actually means, and in this video I'm going to break it down into simple terms that everyone can understand. First and foremost, compensation remains fully negotiable between buyers and sellers and their agents. When talking to different agents and deciding who you're going to work with, you should ask questions about the services that they provide and the level of services that you are going to receive. So, change number one. Either the seller's broker or the seller themselves may offer compensation to the buyer's agent. But there's going to be limitations on how we can market those. So we can no longer put on our MLSs how much money the sellers are offering, if any. Second, if there is compensation being offered, it has to be approved by the seller in writing. And the third is that before touring any home, before stepping foot in the front door of a home, you must have a buyer's representation agreement signed. Now, the terms of that buyer's representation agreement can be flexible. Here in the state of Texas, we have two different buyer broker forms. One is what we call the long form or the traditional form that we've always had, outlining all the terms and services that the buying agent is providing for the buyer. But the new short form allows for something called showing services. This is not limiting our fiduciary duties to the buyer, but it does limit the scope of services we're providing to literally just showing a property. We can make this specific for one day, one weekend, and in terms of the area that we're putting on that form, it can be as specific as one property address, a neighborhood, a city, or a zip code. So buyers, just because you have to sign something now before walking into a door, that doesn't mean you have to be tied and locked into a long-term contract with an agent that you may not know. So it's okay. Just make sure you ask the questions and ask to put the terms in there that you're comfortable with. Now, if the sellers have not offered compensation, then buyers, you can ask your agent to put that in your contract and ask the seller to pay your agent directly. However, if they will not pay, then it could be your responsibility to pay your agent based off of the terms that you guys decided in your buyer's agency agreement. Now, here's a little caveat. Let's say you call up the listing agent and you want to go see the house with the listing agent. You do not have to have a signed buyer's representation agreement to see it if you're just talking to the listing agent. But just remember, that listing agent represents the seller. They cannot give you two magic words here in Texas: advice or opinions. Because of this, I will always, always, always recommend that you have your own agent. Just like you wouldn't go to court and not have your own agent or attorney represent you. My name is Kim Dean. I've been a realtor here in the DFW market since 2003. If you have questions, please reach out. Just because things have changed a little bit doesn't mean anyone needs to freak out, okay? So just ask lots of questions, make sure that you're comfortable before signing anything, and happy house shopping.